We also invite our viewers to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Vegans Too. So tonight we're gonna be talking about the challenges of being and remaining vegan. I'm excited about this topic because I have run the local vegetarian families group for over 10 years now, and during the past 10 years I have helped and watched the journey of people who got onto the vegan path, and some of them could not stay there. They fell back, and their struggles and their successes I have witnessed closely. So this topic is close to my heart. Um, but first, let us bring the amazing ladies of the Vegans Too. Helene
Hey everyone.
from Triangle Veg Fest and Virtual Veg Fest Live. Marla Rose from Vegan Street.
Hi.
Angela Ivan, Vegan Puppies. Laura Ball, Plant Power Studios. And last but not least, Kimberly Winters from Did You Bring the Hummus?
Hello.
Excellent. So, before we get into the main topic, as we have been doing, first we will go with the current news. And for that, as usual, Marla and Angela Ivan, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, ladies. How are we doing tonight?
We're good. Just so you know, we have a little bit of a tech issue with streaming to Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, it looks like it is streaming to Vegan Street only. And you have to run over to YouTube, either the Vegan Stew, Virtual Veg Fest, or Tilted Planet is where we're streaming live right now. But it seems that the other Facebook streams have a tech issue. So, but we're still live and you can still find us. It's just that you got to go find us someplace different than you normally watch us.
Yes, indeed. But we're here and we're about to give you this current news. I'm super excited because Target is becoming the go-to place for budget-friendly, clean beauty. They have started an initiative to pledge $2 billion to Black-owned businesses by 2025. And I'm super excited because I always go to Target and they are starting to be my go-to space for getting vegan clean brands like the Lip Bar. They were featured on Shark Tank. Baked Bakery, phenomenal brand, Pigmented. And now they have a new brand called I want to say Jocks, because the founder's last name is Jaquez, but it's JACQ apostrophe S, and it's a skincare line. And what makes clean beauty so amazing is that it is cruelty free, doesn't have any synthetics that could possibly mess up your face and your body, no parabens, and it's not harming any animals. So I'm here for everything that Target is bringing to the table, because Target it's the best. It's just
it's not Target, Angela Yvonne. It's Target.
Oh, that's right, Target. Target. Yes, indeed, Target. But yes, make sure that you guys go and support those brands. And it's not just Black-owned brands; it's clean beauty in general. But they're just doing emphasis on brands that have been brought to the forefront by minorities, even indigenous people as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I've been going there for years for the Pacifica brands. They have really good variety there, and then lots of different hair care too. It's just it's hard these days to go to Target and not spend at least $30-40. I mean, like you're just there to browse, of course, but it's really hard. So.
Yeah,
And
every time I leave with a bathing suit,
they're
every
also
single
doing
time.
they're also doing well as vegan products in food as well. Like you can go and get really good brands that are vegan and plant-based as well. Like Ripple, the milk brand, is featured out of Target. And then I think it's called something Earth. I forgot what the first part is.
Sweet
Which
Earth.
one?
Sweet Earth.
Sweet Earth.
Yes.
Sweet.
They have phenomenal burritos and pizzas and things of that nature. So yes, Target.
Yes.
But another thing that's cool about Target is they take all the vegan and plant-based stuff and they don't have it just in one section. They interdisperse it throughout the whole store.
Yes.
So it's annoying to go to try and find something when you like to have your stuff in one place, but it's great for the products and for consumerism that it's all over the store. So it's really neat.
I think that seems to be like the vegan product scene is just exploding so much that it's harder to get it so narrowed down into one little section anymore. So that's a good problem to have. So
it's like a snaps for Target.
Yay! Yay! So I was going to mention that's kind of a segue in the sense that my news of today is that the European Union is on the path to phasing out animal testing in laboratories. Now, testing on cosmetics has been banned in the EU for years, but this is more for medical laboratories and that sort of thing. So it's not a done deal yet, but there's a lot of words here with the word European. The European Parliament has just empowered the European Commission to develop a plan for the European Union to phase out this animal testing. There's something about around 10 million animals each year used in animal testing in the European Union countries. And so this will affect everyone from mice to dogs and cats, 10 million. And something like 72% of European Union citizens who were polled on this approve of this measure. So it's very exciting. Like this doesn't happen overnight, but it is definitely progress. I think a lot of times as vegans, we want to see stuff happen overnight, and why can't it be faster? But these are very slow moving entities, and just the fact that it's on the radar, they're developing every year. They have to, or every so often, they have to reach certain markers toward getting to that goal. So anyway, I'm very excited about that. That's huge news for us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay.
Since we're live, I just want to do there's a couple of tech issues that we're having as well. Marla, can you mute yourself for a second? All right, nope. So Marla, come on back. Laura, can you mute yourself? Nope, come on back. Let me see. No, Angela Yvonne, can you mute yourself? Nope, not there. Sangeeta? No. All right. So I don't know where that feedback is coming from because it doesn't go away with any of us muting ourselves. So
maybe you should hear it when we're talking, because when I can hear you guys clearly, but Marla, I hear muffled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What if I'll take off my earbuds? Does that help?
A little bit better, but it's still kind of muffled. But
okay, but I just want to make sure that we can be heard, but there's some thank you for the feedback because it's all the way up there to Elizabeth. So thank you, Elizabeth, for the muffled sound. Is it all of us you let us know, or is it one of us? Let us know, because that'll help us with fixing, not just for tonight, we might not be able to, but for the future
Absolutely.
as well. So
Yes.
thank you. I'm going to throw it back at Sangeeta. What? It's Tech Night. That's why we do it live.
Exactly.
All right. So before we dwell into the main topic of the evening, is there anything else would you like to bring up? Anyone?
Could I bring up one little thing?
Sure.
Just last week, on Sunday, I found out that a woman who runs an animal sanctuary in Michigan founded it 20 something more years ago, named Dorothy Davies, passed away after a long illness. And the name of the sanctuary is Sasha Farm. And like I said, they've been in it forever. So if you are able to donate anything, $5, $10, whatever it is, through their website, just Google Sasha Farm, Sasha Animal Farm. They will really appreciate it, because they're going to continue doing their work, but it's a hard loss. So I just wanted to say that.
Marla, is that SACHA or SASHA?
SASHA, no C.
Okay, there we go. Because you have a fundraiser right now on Vegan Street, so let's send everybody there.
We reached the goal. Yeah.
Oh, that's great news.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let me throw that on there. All right, cool.
Cool.
Well, awesome. We're not as talkative as we usually are, but I think we'll get there when Sangeeta brings us into the main topic.
All right. So, can we start the main topic, or are there any other items?
I was kind of excited to see that potato milk is now going to be the new oat milk, which I'm excited to try. I saw that was a new thing. I'm like, I mean, I love potatoes for everything. They're like, my meat. So I'm excited to see what the milk's going to be like.
That's going to be interesting.
Is this mashed potatoes? In a
I don't know if they're mashed or what the deal is, but it's potato milk, which I am excited for because I love potato bread. So I thought that was kind of interesting and just wanted to share that. So keep your eyes on the market for yet another milk alternative.
But
yes.
But is it raw potatoes? I mean, because
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, how are you going to milk a potato?
Yes. I believe it was on. Let me think. I think it was on Veg News. But it's going to be the next big thing. They said oat milk move over. Potato milk's going to take over. So
wow.
Yeah. I wonder what the consistency is going to be, because I know the lightest milk that we have is like rice milk. Then that's like water, and then it would be like coconut milk, and then from coconut milk you could do a soy or an almond milk, and then cashew I think is the most consistent to the regular milk that we have, because it has a more thickness to it. So I'm anxious to see what potato milk is going to taste like.
Same.
I just want to know, are they cooking the potatoes and then turning into milk, and what that consistency is going to be like, and what are they adding to it to make it into a milk?
Yes.
Because
and what type of potato are they using? That's what I want to know too. Is it Yukon? Is it
they use Russell potatoes for everything.
Right. Are they fingerling? I don't know. But I'm very excited to find out.
That's funny.
That's the best comment ever. We just need to like quote some of this stuff, put it out there. What kind of potatoes are they going to use? I don't think they should use any. But that's great.
I'm gonna let someone else be the guinea pig for that.
Potato heads.
It's gonna be Laura's. It'll be okay.
It will be
a winner
when it comes to that.
Yeah, let's do that one live when you get it.
Oh yeah, when I get it, I will taste test it live and tell all of you how it is.
Absolutely.
Well, we're gonna see your face, so it'll be perfect.
A live review.
I want to see that spit. I want to see it spit out onto the screen. I just want to.
Maybe I'll do like a White Russian. I mean, vodka's made out of potatoes, right? So it can't be that bad.
I think we're ready.
Okay. Do it. All it took was the potato milk.
Potato milk.
Potatoes bring the vegans together, right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean, I have been used to having like one vegetarian dish in any fast food restaurants. That's French fries.
Yes.
But not at McDonald's because they're
Not
not
at McDonald's.
vegan.
I learned that later.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And for everyone, if you don't know that, French fries should be vegan, but McDonald's kind of coats them in like meat fat.
Animal fat. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And then fries them, and that's
Yeah.
Oh well. All right.
All right. So let's jump into the topic: being and remaining vegan. So, top two things that I have heard from people. What makes it harder is people say, I want to be vegan, but the rest of my family is not on board. That's number one. Number two is, I can't give up cheese. And so, my answer to both of those things, my answer to number one question is that just learn how to make vegan food. It's awesome, it's delicious, and start introducing it to your family. And when they understand, oh, like I have had family visiting, and I've made Indian dishes for them, like kadhi, for example, which is usually a buttermilk, is the main ingredient in that. And they were like, if we didn't know you were vegan, we would not be able to even tell the difference. So just make everything that can be, everything has been veganized pretty much at this point. So just start making vegan versions of it, is what I often tell people. And for the second question, I can't give up cheese. I say that it just takes time for your taste buds to change. But if you keep trying often enough, you will actually start to prefer vegan cheese.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my answers. Anybody wants to chime in here?
So, what I would love to just say, and what I say to people too, is replace I can't or won't, with something else. So, I can't be kind to animals because it's too hard. I can't, stop being kind to animals because I love cheese too much. If you replace it and make it different, it starts to compute differently, I think, too, because it's an environmental thing, it's a compassion thing, and it's really just about doing the right thing. And to your point, Sangeeta, I remember, I think I got like a veggie burger or something, they said they have vegan cheese, but they put real cheese on it. That first bite was so disgusting because it's so rich. And I don't know what it is, but now it's nauseating. Like smelling it, tasting it, even when I get it on accident, it's not good anymore. And I think people don't think it'll ever be that way because dairy is an addiction. Let's be honest. I mean, it really is. This country specifically is addicted to dairy, and it is one of the worst industries. In my opinion, it's even worse than the meat industry because of how they treat the animals. It's just awful. So I, promote to everybody, just think about it in a different mindset. Can't you or won't you?
That's a good point. Can't you or won't you? And sometimes like there is some manipulation from the family also. Like they would like say, oh, but then you're torturing us. And then you have to make that distinction. Is what are you saying as torture? Is and what animals go through is the real torture. And so like not get into that, not fall for those manipulative scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Marla?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I went vegan in the 90s, and what we had was ridiculous. It was so very bad that it was better just to go without. It was ridiculous. They were trying, but that was the best that we had. So what I often advise people to do is to take a nice long break of dairy before they try vegan cheese because their palate, their taste buds are acclimated to dairy. Um, and then there's just so many more options. And I definitely think that people need to have somewhat of an open mind to it. But I
Yeah.
had a similar experience with Laura in the sense that one time, this was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I went somewhere and they put actual dairy cheese on something I ate, and it was so disgusting. And
Yeah.
it just has an animal taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I noticed it right away. And the second thing is that that's not me, by the way, making those noises. The other thing I was going to mention is just that, like, it blew my mind because that was not. I couldn't believe at the time that that was something I never thought I could live without. When I first went vegan, I thought I'll just have to suffer through the rest of my life without cheese. So
Yes.
dramatic. But yeah, I mean, it's. I do think that you need to give yourself at least a 3 week or more break, before you get back into it. Anyway, that's
Mm-hmm.
it.
Go ahead, Halim.
Angela, did you have something to say? Because you kind of raised your fork earlier.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
I was
okay?
just waiting my turn.
You can go first.
Oh, I was. You put me on the spot.
That we're live.
I was just going to say that pertaining to being a vegan and staying a vegan, I think the one thing that always stays true is that you just have to find your why, as into why you're doing this or why you're not. Because once you have your why in place, I think it makes your decision a little easier. And when people say that they can't, I agree with Laura, where if you put the word I can't or change it to something like it's not a priority to me, it sounds more harsh. And I think it gets your brain to thinking like,
Mhm.
well, why is my health more a priority? Or why isn't my, the planet, more of a priority versus saying I can't or I won't or I don't want to. When you start saying I don't want to, then that's another trigger for your brain. But I feel that the longer that you're in the lifestyle and you are communing with other people who of like mind, it's just easier if you're a type of person who needs a lot of support whenever you're making decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna speak for all of us for a second, and I'm gonna guess that we've all said I can never be vegan.
No, I've never said that.
You didn't say that?
No,
Yeah, I was kind of raised that way.
I wasn't exposed to it until my mom, got breast cancer. And then I was just like, well, what are some alternatives? Because I've always been open-minded at dealing with food. Long as it don't smell bad, I'll try it once. So it wasn't, it was never a situation where I was just like, oh, I could never. But when I started to subtract the different things, it when I really thought about it, it was like, I really didn't miss it. So it wasn't a situation because I was never really a steak person. I never was the only thing that I used to love hot dogs. I used to love hot dogs and I used to love hamburgers. But steak, I wasn't really on that, on that type of vision or mission. But yeah, as long as it don't smell bad, I'm always with something like that. So
Well,
veganism, it just made my palate better.
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's yeah. It's most people who were vegan at some point before they went vegan said the words, I could never do this. For me, the the soy milk, many years ago, the I didn't want to give up Parmesan cheese. I don't want to give up whipped cream, all of which you can get vegan now. It's just as
Right.
good as far as I'm concerned. But cheese is insidious. The advice I give to people when they say they are thinking about going vegan, the baby steps, I say, don't worry about meat. Get rid of dairy
Yeah,
first thing. And to
yeah.
Laura's point, when it comes to the industry, I'll tell you a story about when when I was drinking milk, and I would drink organic milk because I thought, well, I feel better. I'm drinking organic milk. How bad could that be? And then you learn when you go vegan that organic milk is actually much worse than non-organic milk. And why is that?
It
Because
is.
yes. All right. Well, here we go. I can tell you why it is along with everybody else. Why is that? Because when you have organic, those cows, their teats could get infected, right? Because that's what happens. They're hooked up to the machines, they're constantly pumping the milk. The teats can get infected. They can't give the cow antibiotics, they can't give the cow medicine because it's organic. So that cow suffers even more than a cow that is not an organic dairy cow.
Right.
And
I
then,
mean,
right,
did
your
not
face
know
is
that.
what I was my face when I learned that. Because you think
I
you're
didn't
doing
know
so
that.
much better, and then you learn that you're just more of a shit. You're really
well,
doing
a
that.
lot of times it simply has to do with what they're fed. It really doesn't have. I mean, like it unfortunately gives people this false sense that okay, everything's humane here. But um, I will say that basically the way I came to look at it when I learned about veganism, those many years ago, was the egg industry is the meat industry, the dairy industry is the meat industry, the leather and wool, they're all intertwined, and some of the industries have such low, they make so little money that they depend on these others to prop them up, especially like with leather and wool as an unknown factor that a lot of people don't realize. But the other thing I was going to say is just that one of the good reasons for quitting dairy first is because most of us will feel better right away. And that will give
True,
you a little bit of an impetus to keep going.
true. And not just that, what you were saying, Marla, but also the junk food industry is also the meat industry, because a lot of junk food uses the leftover ingredients from making the animal feed, like high fructose corn syrup and things like that. And which,
Gelatin.
Yeah.
So
And I just
it's
want to say, too, the poultry industry is equally as bad. Let's talk about day old male chickens getting grinded alive. Okay. That's their
males.
reality. Yes.
Yep. The males.
And, before we went vegan, when I was super young, we had a chicken farm, right? Organic chicken farm. And I still have nightmares sometimes of walking outside my back porch, my dad cutting their heads off and hanging them upside down on the clothesline. Okay, that's organic farming. It's not, cows aren't out there basking in the sunlight in an open, green field. That is not reality. That is rose-colored lenses for you to keep supporting an industry that is absolutely atrocious. And quite frankly, in my opinion, should be illegal. What we do to those animals is so wrong and so disgusting that no living being on this earth deserves to go through that. And what makes a cow or a tiny chicken or a pig or a goat any less than a dog or a cat or a parakeet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what drives me nuts, is that some species are better than others. What does that sound like to you?
Speciesism.
Yes.
That's what that sounds like to me.
Yes. It's just disgusting.
one other thing that I mentioned, for those who are transitioning, like, it could become overwhelming if you think about like making all meals vegan at the same time. So what I suggest is like start with one, and if something feels like impossible, like cheese at this time, tackle that later. Do what you can at this time. And a better approach I have seen works is like start with lunch or start with dinner, where you have more time to think about and plan, and then move on to the next meal. And then slowly, you wouldn't even want animal products. Go ahead, Angela. Ivan.
And what I find fascinating is that people will only say that they can't eat vegan food once they know that it's vegan.
It's true.
If they look in their normal day-to-day lives, they eat more vegan food than they do
Correct.
Yeah.
processed food. Because when you think of it, the only processed food that you possibly could eat is like the hamburgers, the hot dogs, of course, chicken, but your candy. But you eat pasta, you eat spaghetti, you eat pizza, cheese pizza. You eat,
Bananas.
well, that's
Tomatoes.
vegetarian, but I mean, but if you really go, like, if you really look through the things that you eat on a day-to-day basis, if people didn't tell you that those were vegan, you'd love it. But the minute you, oh my God, I can't eat. Well, ma'am, you just had spaghetti
Yes.
with vegetables and
Yeah.
marinara sauce. That's vegan? Yes, ma'am, it is.
Yes.
I could never. Oh, okay. That's seconds.
I've had that experience with chefs before where they claim that they've never had vegan food. I'm like, oh my God, you've never had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
That's right. You ever had a banana?
Marinara. No, it's bizarre, but the other
Yeah.
thing, as to Sangeeta's point, one of the things I tell people, because I do understand, I've been vegan so long that it can, I think this can be a common problem, is that we can forget how it feels sometimes to be trying something new and being afraid to fail and that sort of thing. So what I tell people is do one meal, make it vegan, and then make your next meal vegan. Means that you're just kind of going, so you're not thinking ahead. And I think a lot of times that's where people trip themselves up is they start thinking about birthday parties and they start thinking about Thanksgiving and start thinking about when their grandma comes to visit. So I just say one meal at a time, take it, step by step, and then once you've got a bunch of meals under your belt, literally, you will it will just be much easier. So yeah, that's what I say. And I've also had the experience where somebody ate something I made that was vegan and they didn't realize it at first, and then they freaked out because they were like, oh, this is supposed to be disgusting because it's vegan, and I liked it. Oh my God, is everyone gay? What does it mean?
Yes.
It's strange.
Hmm.
Laura first, please.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say too, if you are struggling making that transition, one of the things that I volunteer my time doing is being a vegan mentor. And veganmentor.com is actually really fantastic. There are a couple I actually volunteer for, but what I like about that one specifically is that they connect you with somebody in your area. So if you need, suggestions on restaurants, and this again will go into our topic next week that I will be hosting for, but if your significant other is not vegan, places that have vegan options where you can both enjoy. And that's really a great resource, if somebody's having a challenge with that, especially if your family's pushing back. That is so hard. And the majority of the people that I mentor, that's the biggest problem. What do I do on Thanksgiving? What do I do at our weekly family dinners? My husband and I are fighting because, I want to make our kids vegan and he doesn't think that's healthy. So there are so many different things that come along with that. But get yourself a mentor, help, gain some knowledge and figure out who can help you in your community.
Great point. Helene, you were going to say something.
So I feel like, transitioning to veganism or whole food plant-based, whatever you want to call it, no pressure from any of us we obviously all want you to go in that direction for the planet, for the animals, and for your health. However, we also understand that it may be meatless Mondays, it may be Taco Tuesdays, it may be your lunches until you can add dinners. I mean, whatever it is, each step in each meal that you eat that's vegan will be beneficial for all three animals, your health, and the planet. So do that and take those steps and meet people in your community, whatever you need to do. And then when you are vegan, one of the things that I kept hearing newly when like years and years ago, and this is a feeling for a lot of people who are vegan and vegans for a long time, is that if you're a health vegan, you won't stay vegan. That has been said over and over and over and over. And I counter that with, I went vegan for health. So I already understood the animal rights side and the cruelty free side. I was already there as a vegetarian. So I got that. But when you make it multi-tiered, it's not just for health, because people do fad diets all the time and they go back to whatever they were doing before that fad diet. I said last night in my live, veganism isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle.
Yep.
So when you add that to your life, as life in for the rest of your life, that you make this choice to be more conscious of what you put into your body, because what you put into your body fuels your body, and also can help you with things like avoiding heart disease, diabetes, strokes, cancer, high cholesterol. Thanks, Philip. So you that's that's what you're doing for your health. And then when you add the environment, which is all around us right now, I mean, you can see climate change and global warming happening before our eyes. The best way to counter that is what we put into our bodies and what we put onto our plate. And then if you can really dive into the fact of what's happening to the animals, which we've touched on tonight, then I don't see how you go back, right? I think it does help people to have more than just one piece of the puzzle to help you to continue doing what you're doing. But you can be a health vegan and stay vegan. You can do it. And a lot of people transition for that reason, because they're looking to lose weight. They had a heart attack. Somebody died in their family. Their cholesterol is too high. Whatever it is, that's your thing. Just know that, one, you've got 6 women right here who would all jump to support you, no matter where you are in the world. I know that. I can say that for a fact. And then there's a whole bunch of other people out there who you don't even know yet that would jump to support you, to keep you on the track. Because this is going vegan and then staying vegan is our topic. And sometimes one is harder than the other. And whichever side that is, you don't have to worry about support because you have it. It's just a matter of like where you reach out to get it.
Yeah. And we're stronger together.
Yep.
Definitely. Now, one incident I want to mention here is we have a great cooperative store here, Weaver Street Market, and they have these amazing vegan whole wheat chocolate chip cookies. And when I tried those, I wasn't even a vegan, but I thought, wow, these are the best cookies I've ever had. And few years later, we came to know that they are going to discontinue that product because it wasn't selling. And so we suggested to them that when you have that label, the first big word is vegan, just take that off, make a small V sign for the vegans. We are good at spotting those. We vegans will know it is vegan, and try that. And they sure tried, and that product is still on their shelf. So that's one thing. If you have a vegan product or you are running a vegan food business, that's something to consider.
One thing that Dilla brought up, which I think is important, is Eleni's article. And that was in New Republic. And she makes a point. Eleni's in Philadelphia. She used to be part of our community in the Triangle. She's absolutely incredible. You can definitely check out our article. She makes the point of, we say Meatless Monday. She says Meat Monday. And that Tuesday and the rest of the week need to be meatless. That's her point. Because of the planet, I haven't taken the time to read the article yet. I do know that that's the concept. And that's, I mean, I don't want to push you too hard, but that's the right thing. Is eat meat on Monday and the rest of the week eat vegan. It'll help save the planet. Because I don't like the heat, and I don't like the rain, and I don't like the tornadoes, and I don't like the hurricanes, and I don't like the fires.
Do it for Halloween.
Just do it. Go ahead, Laura.
And I'd also just like to say, I really do feel, I had a vegan massage therapist once, right? So it made for a very interesting and intense massage session. But one of the points that she brought up that I didn't even think about, because I was kind of raised into this lifestyle and knew why we didn't do what we did, is that you're ingesting their emotions, their fear, their pain, their suffering. You are putting that into your body. So that's another reason and something to think about that I found very interesting, because I had never even thought about that perspective before. But imagine what that kind of does, whether you believe in the soul or not, but just what that does to your body is quite interesting. And that's just another reason why you should make the change.
Right. I mean, one thing is to speak about it metaphorically, but there is also a real component of it, because the animals know that they're gonna die.
Yes.
Or a cow definitely is missing her calf when she's being milked, and these feelings definitely have like secret the hormones that whatever that hormone could be, that is generated by extreme fear, adrenaline, or uh, those things do get into that their bodies, and then of course you are ingesting those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not a fan. I'm gonna go there. I'm not a fan of bringing the Holocaust into veganism.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm Jewish. I'm not a fan. However, I have used an analogy, and the analogy I used was the cows lining up to go to slaughter, and the strip of blood down on the concrete as they're walking towards what they obviously consciously can't say, I'm going to death. But do they know? How do you not know the
How do
energy, the feelings,
Well, they
the
can smell blood. They can smell. I mean,
right?
you know
And
what
it's
I
it's
mean? Yeah.
it's it's going right down beside them as they're being forced to go into slaughter. I made the analogy of the Jews and the other people in the Holocaust in concentration camps taking their walk into the showers,
Mm,
not knowing if they're going to get a shower
mm,
or if they're going to be gassed to death.
mm,
And I made that analogy in the classroom to the students because that's a death march. And there's no other way to put it. And they know they're sentient beings. They love they're mammals. They love their kids like a human mom and dad would love their children.
Right.
They're stripped away. Their children are stripped away. And if they're meat cows, cattle, they're going to slaughter, and they the one after the next. They just get forced. And if you've watched any films, and they're all absolutely like horrific, but if you watch the films, they don't just walk in. They have to be forced to walk in because
mm,
nobody wants to walk to their death.
mm,
And that just like completely takes away the humane. If you're sitting there and you're thinking, I eat humane meat, I eat grass-fed beef, I eat organically raised animals, I'm going to tell you right now, there's absolutely zero humaneness in that because
Mm-hmm.
the end result is their death. And for
Right.
me, it's worse for them because they got a touch of good as opposed to the factory farm animals, which just live in absolutely horrible, horrendous conditions, dirty, filthy, that's what you're eating, conditions, and then go to death. They never knew anything nice. The
Yeah.
animals that live free range, like free range, well, it depends on the animal, but free range, the cows just graze and they live their lives and like maybe on a family farm where they actually show some love, and then that farm sends them to a factory farm to be slaughtered
Yeah.
by nobody that they know, and then they're just dead. There's nothing humane about that.
No.
Marla.
I know we're getting close to the end, but I do want to point out just that, like, for example, free range for chickens means that there is an open door somewhere in this giant warehouse, and they may or may not be able to access it. They've had to, the industry has to replicate the same uh, the same approach as conventional agriculture, because how that's the only way it can be done. So people are deluding themselves if they think that quote unquote organic animals are treated that much better. Because it's not night and day. They're not treated like, so sweetly before slaughter either. It's a lot of times it really, like what I was saying before, is just about food. It's just about what they're fed. You know.
Yeah, you don't hear like, oh, your cow died of natural causes, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not. And I think that's kind of what people subliminally think when they think organic is like, oh, they're living their life and they're having this great life, and then I'm eating them when their time's up. That's not how it works. And those organic free range farms are still not humane. They're still not, in my opinion.
Kimberly.
Also, all of the animals that people are eating are babies.
Yes.
You know, cows can live to be like 20, 25 years old. And they make it 6, 8 months. You know, chickens, just a few months. And in that time, like the broiler chickens are pumped so full of steroids that, you know, their legs are broken, their feet are all messed up, they can't move, even if they are free range. They couldn't get out of the door if they wanted to because they're too big.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of why it's so expensive at sanctuaries to give them care is they have been bred to have an expiration date at a very young age. And, you know, almost always, quote unquote, broiler hens and egg-laying hens die by the age of 1 or so. At a sanctuary, even with the best of care, because of how they've been bred. So, you know, that's part of why shelters or sanctuaries need so much money is they need to give them the quality of care they've never had. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose sight of like what Kimberly said and what veal is, because I think a lot of people don't know what veal is, and they just think, oh, it's this really like this meat that's like really tender and soft, and like I like it as a parmesan. So veal veal are the male calves from the dairy industry. I want you to realize that if dairy didn't exist, veal would go away. Because the only reason that there's veal is because they need to figure out what to do with the male calves because they can't produce milk. So they take them and they put them into these little sheds separate from their moms because they don't get to drink mom's milk because we drink that. Well, you, if you do, humans drink that. And another side thing is no other mammal or animal on this planet drinks their mom's milk or any milk outside of they're weaned from their mom. Nobody drinks, no animal on this planet drinks another animal's milk anywhere on the planet. So the veal, if you didn't realize that, it's calves, like 12 weeks old. It's the babies. You're eating baby cow because you drink milk.
Kimberly.
They're kept in these tiny boxes, right? Like Helene said. And so they can't move because if they move too much, that toughens the meat and nobody will pay the money that's expected for veal. They're also severely lacking in nutrients because another thing that's so great about veal is that the meat is like a white or a light pink. And that is like required by people who are paying for this. So these calves are completely without nutrients. And if they're kept in boxes that have metal that hold the doors together, those babies will lick that metal, desperate for like iron and nutrients that their bodies are just without. And also because they're so sick, because they're not properly fed, they constantly have diarrhea. And reminder, they're in this tiny box that they can't get out of. They can't move. So if they're going to lay down, they're laying down in their diarrhea. And like that's the meat that you're spending like insane amounts of money on.
Good point. Now I also want, if we have anyone watching from India, I want to help make several connections, because many Indians are vegetarians and they think that okay, cow has too much milk anyway, so if I take a little bit from them, what's so bad about it? But then if you ever have been to India, you would see that the cows roam around the street. And the reason they are roaming around the street, number one, is nobody's taking care of them. Number two is because it is unlawful to slaughter a cow. So no one's taking care of them. They're fending for themselves. They are eating plastic from the trash that people throw out. That's one thing. Second thing, how is it that India is number one beef exporter? If you think, try to make, I will help you make a connection here. Most milk that is sold commercially in India is not cow milk. It is water buffalo milk. And as much as Indians love their cows, nobody cares about these poor water buffaloes. So, what happens is they are used for milking and they are sent to slaughter, and that meat is exported because most Indians do not eat beef, anyways. So, that's how India has become number one beef exporter, more so than United States. India is also a major leather exporter or leather manufacturer. How does that happen? Is these male calves from these dairy water buffaloes are starved to death, and sometimes their leather is sold as ahimsa leather because they are not slaughtered. They just starve to death, like they just as if they died naturally. They did not die naturally. They don't die naturally. They're starved to death, and that's how India has become a number one beef exporter and a major leather manufacturing country. So it's not that there is no cruelty involved in the Indian dairy industry.
Sangeeta, did you see the comment that Michael posted? Can you talk about kalbacha? Kalbaka?
Khalbacha. So I don't know that term as such, but I know khal means skin and bacha means a little baby, like a young animal or a human. But I don't know that term.
Okay, well, Michael, if you want to share a little bit more, I think we all might have something to say about that. But yeah, that sounds horrible.
That is
Whatever
all.
you learned sounds absolutely horrible.
Yeah. And just to kind of go back to what Kimberly was saying to you before we wrap up, is one of the most significant memories I have with my dad was when we turned vegan. He goes, "Let me show you something." And he pulled out a piece of 8.5 by 11 computer paper. And he set it down in front of me. He goes, "Imagine living in this your whole life." Referring to chicken specifically. Imagine living in this piece of paper your entire life, and that is your existence before you get murdered.
Wow.
This is why we made the change. And that, I don't think people really think of it that way. And that's why I love what Jim Carrey said. I can't remember specifically, but he said something that these animals aren't wild. We are. We are the wild animals, because what we're doing is it's not compassionate, and it's not humane, and it's not woke. It is something very different. And I agree. I think we are the wild animals, because this is just disgusting.
Oh, yes, Michael. Sorry, Kimberly. I'm just going to refer to. Yes, Michael, that is definitely a practice of all over India. When the calf dies, they stuff it and put it in front of the cow or the buffalo so that mommy thinks that's her calf and keeps giving milk. It is a very normal standard practice. It has been going on for ages. It is not even modern.
I just don't tell anybody about that here. And one thing that's really important for people to understand, because some people don't know that women, mammals, females, don't just produce milk. Like, you can't just walk up to a female mammal and be like, "Hey, can I get milk from you?" The way that happens is they have to have babies. And you have to keep having babies to keep producing milk. So the cows aren't going, hey, let's have a baby. The cows are being impregnated, sometimes with a hand, into their bodies, maybe the side of their bodies, to impregnate them so they can keep producing milk, so we can keep drinking the milk. And when they have the fortune of having a male, that's when you get the veal. They have the misfortune of having a female, they go through the whole process of being part of the dairy chain. And it's just and they never get to raise their kids. They don't ever get to do that. They just keep giving birth, which if you're a female and you've had a child, you know the bond that you have with that child. Imagine that child just stripped out of your arms, just like literally stripped out of your arms upon birth. And
Yeah.
that's the industry. And I know we went into like a direction that may be a little different than, hey, become vegan and stay vegan. But all these are reasons, one, to go there, and all of these are reasons to not leave it.
Yeah.
If you have any doubts.
Yeah.
And that's why it's my personal opinion. You can't really call yourself a feminist if you eat meat and drink dairy.
Mm.
That's another good point.
Kimberly, you were saying something.
Oh no, I had quickly Googled calabacha, so I was just going to comment on it. But you covered it, so we're good.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell one other gross thing, but maybe I shouldn't, because we are. Let's end on a positive note.
Mm-hmm.
So that positive note can be like you can be healthier. You can avoid the statistics of possibly having cancer, heart disease, diabetes, strokes, high cholesterol by what you eat and put into your body. You can help the planet and try to reverse climate change and global warming. And you can save animals, all by choosing to eat vegan, plant-based on your plate.
And the food is delicious.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Says all the people that can cook.
I was just going to say it's great for lazy people who want to get a lot done at once.
And definitely follow Vegan Street for recipes, because Marla is a recipe developer. So, and she almost weekly has a new recipe, from sweet to savory to anywhere in between. And they look divine.
Not almost weekly.
It is weekly? Okay, it is weekly. I just see the post and I go, oh, look at that. Oh, that looks so good. So yes, I definitely check that out for recipes, because they're not overly complicated recipes, but they look amazing. And I've made some and they're really good.
Yes, and it's not just vegan food either. There are vegan hair salons. There are vegan manicurists. There are vegan bookkeepers, I found out, which I was like, what? Mm-hmm. So there are so many different types of vegan businesses you can support, and you can start supporting them, by I use VKind, VKind's app. Go there, type in what you're looking for, and you can find all these amazing resources for you, and you can help us boost the veg economy. So I just wanted to say that too. That's a great resource for everyone.
Laura, can you put that? Oh, okay. VKind app. Okay.
Cool. Helene's ahead of me, per usual.
I just know all the websites. it's like I work with all of you or something. All right. All right. Awesome. And of course, let's do the plug for Kimberly too. So Did You Bring the Hummus is her podcast. And on Monday, she does Fireside Chat with Kimberly on Virtual Veg Fest Live. And she has these type of talks every Monday where you can converse with her, and she brings up topics. And like this week was interior design, vegan interior design, which is something that who knew? So it's right. And it's great. It's great information in a very laid back and direct manner, and she's obviously got tons of knowledge, and that's why I support her.
And next week is Dating Non-Vegans, and will be hosted by Laura.
Yay.
Yes,
that's great.
I look forward to it.
Me too. Thanks everyone.
Thank
you for watching.
Are you gonna end us off? Or are you gonna go on your own, Sangeeta?